Good morning, Democrats. Here we are. Good morning. The California Teachers Association is celebrating 150 years this year. I hope a lot of you got to stop by our reception last night and help us celebrate. And if you would please join with me in a shout out to our executive director retiring after 18 years, Carolyn Doggett. We love you. Thank you for your advocacy. You know, it was John Sweat, CTA's founder, who helped establish this organization for one purpose, and that was to fight for the right for a free public education. In 1863, we were founded, and 3 years later, we're able to pass legislation that established free public schools in California. You know, 1863, that was Abraham Lincoln was president. That was the year of the Emancipation Proclamation, and fighting for free public schools in California has been our history, and it remains our same fight 150 years later. The history of CTA is a history of educational opportunity and the fight for human rights. Proudly, we have stood shoulder to shoulder with the California Democratic Party. We've stood against the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. We fought for the right of public employees to bargain collectively. In fact, it was a former governor of the state of California, a Democratic governor, who signed the first collective bargaining law for teachers. You might all recall him. His name is Jerry Brown. CTA and the Democratic Party have a history of fighting for what's right. We fought together to try to defeat Prop 187. We stood proudly against Proposition 8, and we'll do that again and again and again for the very same reason. Everybody has a right to marry whomever they choose, and we know that, and the citizens of California are starting to catch on. Three times, we fought initiatives designed to take away a young woman's right to choose, right to reproductive choice. But I will tell you, at no time have I been prouder to be a Democrat, prouder to stand with you than I was last year working together to pass Proposition 30 and to defeat Proposition 32. It was because of our efforts that Prop 30 passed, and our schools and community colleges and universities were spared billions in cuts. And I'll tell you, Prop 30 isn't just about education. It's about keeping communities whole. And we did that together. Democrats, thank you for standing with labor and crushing Proposition 32. How many times will they try to take away the voices of working women and working men? When will Karl Rove and his merry band of corporate flunkies finally learn their lesson? California is not for sale. Not now, not ever. We know that, and the voters of California know that. And sooner or later, those guys are going to catch on. And right now, we're on to the next fight. You know, 150 years after California got a free public education system, we're still fighting to keep our schools public. Corporate interests are trying to turn public schools into profit centers. They're trying to take the profession of teaching and turn it into a stopgap job that anybody can do. They're hell-bent on turning students into test-taking machines, and I'll tell you right now, they want to do that, they got to come through us. They're attacking our union rights, and they're slowly trying to dismantle the greatest democratic institution here and all around the country, and that is our public schools. Now, let me tell you, names like Students First and Democrats for Education Reform sound really good and wonderful to some folks. They sound like good names, but let's be perfectly clear. These organizations are backed by moneyed interests, Republican operatives, and out-of-state Wall Street billionaires dedicated to school privatization and trampling on teacher and worker rights. And we are not going to stand for that. They are backed by the same people. They are backed by the same people who backed Proposition 32. Now, I'll tell you, California Teachers Association and our brothers and sisters in the California Federation of Teachers, the California Faculty Association, the California School Employees Association, AFSCME, and the Labor Caucus of this very Democratic Party ask you to join us in supporting a resolution at this convention that reaffirms the California Democratic Party commitment to public education and to worker rights. We have got to do that. We have got to do that today. Because there is an anti-public education agenda out there. And they don't know who we are yet, but let me tell you, they're going to find out. CTA and the Democratic Party, we did not fight for 150 years just to lie down and sell our schools off to the highest bidder. Are you ready to stand with us? Are you ready to stand with us? Are you ready to stand up and support public education? Are you ready to build our communities? Are you ready to take our schools back? Will you? Yes. Thank you. Together, we're going to make California what it's always been able to be. And California public schools are going to be the most highly regarded anywhere. Absolutely. Thank you, Democrats. And let me close with this. Those folks that keep throwing things at us, they're actually asking the question, when are we going to get tired? When are we going to lie down? I'll tell you what we're telling them. We're just getting started. Thank you.